Okay, so let's start in the men's Premier Division. Saracens A 1, Valkyries 3.
Yeah, it was a good showing from Saracens A today. With I call him Captain Fantastic every time because he is the linchpin of that side. George Powell. Valkyries A, goal scorers Kieran Gell and Robin Masson with 2. Valkyries A, top of the league after 2 games, 2 wins. And they have gone through a significant amount of change in that first team this year. But they are looking good to take that battle to Vikings A and Backers A this season.
Sounding strong, yeah. Elsewhere, Ramsey A 0, Vikings A 1.
Yeah, Vikings A sneaking this by the skin of their teeth after what was an awesome performance against Backers A last week. Stephen Cronin score sheet for Vikings A. You would have expected more from Vikings A this week, but they've got the win. They've ground it out. They've got what they needed. Ramsey A, bottom of the league. And I think they're probably going to struggle. It's going to be between them and Saracens A for who stays up.
Women's Prem, Backers A 2, Saracens 0.
Again, another really strong showing from Saracens ladies, and they were 1-0 down at half time, but in the second half I think fitness started to tell a bit. Lucy Kinraid and the excellent Bobby Hempsel, and rest assured you'll be hearing that name a lot over the next few years in Manx Hockey. She's a very, very good young player. On the score sheet for Backers A, that moves Backers up the league, I think. Takes them out of that sort of relegation zone for the time being, and it was a really important game for them to win today because it's, again, I think these are the two sides that are probably going to be looking at relegation.
Valkyries A 5, Ramsey 0. Now my friend Becky Pate, she plays for Valkyries, and I saw her earlier today. She was saying she was a bit nervy about this game. She thought Ramsey were going to come out fighting, but it looks like she had nothing to worry about.
I always had Valkyries A down as my favourites. Ramsey A last year had a poor season. This year they've started really well with the win they had last week. I'd expected them to have a bit of a tighter game and at least put some more goals on the score sheet. But Valkyries A, last year's champions, they were champions for a reason. They're as good going forward as they are at the back. Ellen Robinson with 2, Angela Littlejohns with 2, and Ellen Cleater with the final score to round it off there for Valkyries A, who remain top of the league.
And Castletown A 0, Vikings A 2.
Yeah, Castletown A frustrated Vikings A today. From what I understand, there's a few new players in that Castletown A side this week. Vikings A, goal scorers are Kim Carney and Daisy Loader.
Kim Carney is always on the get my teeth back in on the goal sheet.
Yeah,
well, she seems to be anyway. She seems to be an absolute machine.
She's always there or thereabouts, even in mixed. She's the top goal scoring female in mixed, pretty much season in, season out. And in ladies, she's always there, good for a goal. But it's not just goals that she's got to a game as well. It's the way that she drives the team forward as a captain. It's also the way that she sets up attacks as well. And that Vikings A side are still very, very strong. And they are my favourites for the title. But they've got a lot to overcome to chase Valkyries A down.
How do we think Vikings A versus Valkyries A would do?
Be a very, very tasty fixture, and I'll be down to watch it, that's for sure.
Definitely. In men's Division 1, Valkyries B 1, Backers B 9.
After this result this week, it was 1-0 at 1-1 at half time. Dave Hall on the score sheet for Valkyries B. The important thing with this fixture is this is a massive, massive statement of intent from Backers B. They want that Premiership status back, and I have to say, after the first 2 weeks, Backers B are my favourites for the title in this men's Division 1. Josh Reardon with a hat-trick, Ali Kelly with 2, Craig Lease with 2, and I've heard that Andy Neal, or Phoenix to most people in Manx hockey circles, playing up front today and got himself a handy 2 goals as well.
Well, very well done to him. I don't know where he usually plays, but he sounds like he did very well.
Normally doesn't play.
Oh, okay. Vikings C 0, Vikings B 4.
Yeah, it was a really close game in the first half. Vikings C defended really, really well, and Vikings B couldn't even win a short corner. I think they won 2 towards the end of the half.
The lady who did text in about this game said that the score didn't reflect the actual match play.
Oh, absolutely not. And I'll be honest, the more experienced players in the sides were absolutely shown up by the youngsters. You had Charlie Bell playing in the C team, and he was incredible in defence for Vikings C, and for Vikings B, Rob Griffiths playing at the back, commanding the team in front of him. That's maturity well beyond his years. Another interesting thing about this game was there was 2 brothers playing against each other, and a father-son playing against each other in this game. So Rob
Family
Griffiths and Mike Griffiths were playing against each other, and Joe and Danny Kane playing against each other as well. So a bit of a grudge match involved as well.
Finally, I can imagine there being some tense sittings in the house this evening. In Division 1, finally, Castane 3, Harlequins 9.
Yeah, and this is it. Last year, I'd have said Harlequins would lose this game. But given the personnel that Castane have lost, they've lost basically their 3 best players. 2 of them are right now Island standard for the seniors, and one of them is an Island youth representative. 2 of them have gone to Vikings in the shape of Stevie Ronan and Jake Fair, and the other one in the shape of Robin Masson have gone to Valkyries. So they are struggling to rebuild right now, but what this result does say is they're going to struggle this year, I think, and they are going to have to start putting points on the board if they don't want to get relegated from this division as well. Harlequins, though, Paul Nuttall on the score sheet alongside Elliot Henson, George Ratcliffe with 3, Ewan Wiley with 2, and in his swan song game on the Isle of Man, Christopher Cave with 2.
Way. In the Women's Division 1, Vikings B 3, Valkyries B 0.
Yeah, there's Valkyries B, and I'm going to pin my colours to the mast now. Valkyries B will win the league this season. Steph Cottier, Emma Miller and Lisa Pugh on the score sheet for Valkyries B. It's only 1-0 at half-time, but Vikings B struggled in this game like they struggled last week. Again, they're going to have to start picking those points up as soon as they possibly can.
And Castletown B 0, Backers B 0. Frustrating game to watch or really exciting game to watch?
I haven't really heard anything about this game, in all honesty. I think it was just a game of hockey. That's as much as I can describe. I haven't had much news, or if I have, it's got lost in all of the other bits of information I've had today. So I do apologise for that. But yeah, both sides, I'd say, are probably fairly equal. And a draw. I actually put this one down as a draw yesterday, I think.
Well, you predicted correctly. So
I will double check on that, but I think I may have picked it out as a draw.
Okay. Moving on to the Rossborough Men's Division 2, Valkyries C1, Castletown B4.
Castletown B3. I had a correction score. It's not your fault. It was a score correction came in whilst we were on air. Daniel Cross with 2 and Steve Smith on a score sheet for Castletown B. You have to say, looking good for that title challenge. Valkyries C, 6th place at the minute, scoring 1 goal. I don't have those goal scorers yet.
Okie dokie. Backers Colts 3, Saracens B 1. Sorry, that was the score at half time. I'm not sure if it's finished yet.
It has indeed. I've got the full-time score. Half-time score, Backers Colts 3-1. Full-time score, Backers Colts 4, Saracens B 3. So Saracens B mounted a brilliant comeback led by Liam Farrer, scoring 3 goals. And he will thank me this week, because for the first time ever, I've pronounced his surname correctly. But Backers Colts, they had 2 debutant goal scorers today in the shape of Tom Barker and Jack Grimley. Harry Kalin was also on the score sheet. And Richie Weir, interestingly enough, I reckon if you counted or added together the ages of the other 3 goal scorers, probably wouldn't quite hit Richie Weir's age. I don't think he'll thank me for that. But yeah, Backers Colts earning a really, really good win, but Saracens B, well fought right to the end.
What a game, yeah. And finally, Backers C. Well, I actually don't have the results for this game. Backers C versus Ramsey B. Are they playing at the moment?
They've just finished, and I've had to score through. So Backers C 2 goal scorers are Mike Flowers and Dave Coley, and Dave Coley's debut. And Ramsey B 7. I haven't quite had the goal scorers for Ramsey B through just yet, or have I? Oh, yes, I have. Richard Spate with 1, Tom Hurd with 1. Ben Curtis with 1, Dan Stevenson, the evergreen goal getter, with 2, and Craig McAfee Bell with 2.
Seems like there's a lot of successful debuts across the board in football and hockey. So it sounds like a lot of youngsters are really stepping up to the plate and making the games their own.
I think it's just that we're all getting old and then we have to be replaced, isn't it?
Or everyone's just getting more and more decrepit. Brilliant. And finally, Rossborough Women's Division 2, we've got Saracens B 0, Backers C 1.
Yeah, I don't have the goal scorer for Backers C at this time, but that's Backers C were in 5th place and they needed a result this week and they sure got it.
And Vikings C 9, Ramsey B 0.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to pin my colours to the mast again, early doors. Vikings C win the title this year. Daisy McGarrigle with 4. Dee Gimbert with a rare goal. Olivia Newstead, I think that's her first goal for the club as well. And I'm not sure she played last week, so it could be a debut goal.
Well done to her.
Jan Carney with 2 and Tamsin Naylor as well.